Turkey is embarking on another 5 years with Recep Tayyip Erodogan at the helm. His victory against rival Kemal Kilicdaroglu comes amid a deep economic crisis. As the cost of living continues to soar, analysts are now wondering whether Erdogan will abandon his unusual policy of lowering interest rates in a bid to fight inflation.
Rampant inflation, dwindling foreign reserves, a currency crisis. Once again, the responsibility of President Recep Tayyip Erodogan, who has secured the presidency and extended his rule into a third decade. It's a win that some voters are unable to wrap their heads around.
I am surprised by the prices. How can it be that carrots cost 50 lira, meat 500 lira? That's a lot. And how is it possible that people still vote for such a government?
The Turkish lira slumped to a new record low on Monday. The currency has lost more than 90% of its value over the last decade. During his victory speech, Erdogan acknowledged that inflation was the most urgent issue facing Turkey.
If anyone can do it, we will. Yes, the interest rate has been reduced to 8.5 at the moment, and you will see that inflation will also decrease.
But economists doubt that Erdogan will improve the current situation. The widely held consensus is that his aversion to raising interest rates is the main contributor to soaring inflation. As a result, Turkey's central bank has spent an estimated $177 billion to prop up the lira since December 2021 alone, deepening deficits, deterring foreign investment. That makes an economic recovery extremely difficult.
To talk more about this, I'm joined now by DW reporter Ekrem Akici. Ekrem, we saw it in the report just there. By all objective measurements, Turkey's economy is in dire straits. In that context, how are we to interpret Erdogan's win here?
Well, for starters, the voters of Erdogan said that they did not want the opposition win. So I believe the sentiment is that even though Erdogan is responsible for this cost of living crisis, that means they feel that it would be him to fix it. So therefore, we have just seen that Erdogan winning exactly the same amount of votes as he won in 2018 elections. But Erdogan's win also means that business as usual. So it's reasonable to expect more turmoils, more inflation, and maybe lower interest rates.
OK, and speaking of that problem of more inflation and lowering interest rates, do you think there's any chance that Erdogan will reverse this very unusual policy?
Looks like no, there's no chance, because yesterday in his victory speech, he basically said that just like how they lowered the interest rates, it would be the same way they would lower the inflation. Nobody knows what that exactly means, but we shouldn't basically expect anything that's different from what was happening in the last 1.5 years. And only thing he mentioned differently was that he's designing an economic team with international credibility. But we didn't see anything that he says that, yeah, we know it's bad and we're going to fix it. We're going to change the course. No, we haven't heard that, and I think we shouldn't expect that.
OK, so you mentioned international credibility there. Another problem Turkey has is that its foreign currency reserves are dwindling. How serious a problem is this?
It's indeed very serious. The foreign exchange reserves of Turkish central bank just dropped to 21-year lowest of minus $0.2 billion. So that's very serious. So this kind of deficit has to be filled in one way or the other. That means that more taxes, more price hikes, and more inflation in the future, because you have to fill this debt to run the state and the economy at the same time. And we have no sign of an economic backtracking, a policy backtracking, just fixing this problem. We also have to keep in mind that Turkey has an enormous trade deficit that it has to deal with amid a currency crisis.
You mentioned earlier to me that there are some analogies with other countries like Argentina here. What are the comparisons between those two countries?
Well, as you know, Argentina is battling with a 106% inflation rate with 97% interest rate. So that shows us that after a point, it won't work. No matter how you backtrack your policies, no matter how much you raise the interests, because if you cross the river of Styx, you arrive at a point of no return. And I believe for Turkey, this crossover point is there. It has arrived there. So from here on, we will probably see more inflation, more crisis for a foreseeable future at an accelerating pace.
Okay, so fundamentally, is that where you see it's going? Just more economic turmoil?
All the indications suggest that this is not going to be fixed by conventional measures. Erdogan will not go down that road. Erdogan is obsessed with investment and growth. So he believes that lowering the interest rates would attract investments. But reality says otherwise, because investors would look at stability and predictability, which there isn't in Turkey at the moment. And I don't believe we will see that in a foreseeable future.
Okay, Ekrem Kilicdaroglu, thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you.